So let's talk about layer and vector masks. You can use masks in Photoshop to hide portions of a layer and then reveal portions of the layer below it. And Photoshop lets you create two different types of masks. Layer masks are resolution dependent bitmap images that are edited with the painting or the selection tools. And then vector masks are resolution independent and are created with a pen or a shape tool. So layer and vector masks are known as being non-destructive, which means you can go back and re-edit the mask later without losing the pixels that they hide. So what you're doing is you're just kind of hiding a portion of the picture. You're not deleting that portion of the picture. So that's why it's really good. So if you decide afterwards and you're like, hey, you know what, I deleted a flower and I kind of want that flower back, if you use a mask to just hide the flower, you can get rid of that part of the mask that's hiding the flower and let it show through. So that's why they're known as being non-destructive. So in the layers panel, both the layer and vector masks appear as an additional thumbnail to the right of the layer thumbnail. For the layer mask, this thumbnail represents the grayscale channel that is created when you add the layer mask. And the vector mask thumbnail represents a path that clips out the content of the layer, and that's called a clipping mask. So here is a screenshot of what that looks like. So note, to create a layer or vector mask on the background layer, you have to first convert it to a regular layer. And you can do that by going to layer, new layer from background, or you can even just double click on it. So this one right here is a layer mask thumbnail. This one right here is the vector mask. So they use a clipping path on this one. And then this right here is the vector mask link icon. So you can see the little chain connecting the two. And then D right here, this button, that's the button that adds the mask. So you can edit a layer mask to add or subtract from the mask region. A layer mask is a grayscale image, so areas you paint in black are hidden and areas that you paint in white are visible. And areas you paint in shades of gray appear in various levels of transparency. So it's very interesting. A vector mask creates a sharp-edged shape on a layer and is useful anytime you want to add a design element with clean, defined edges. After you create a layer with a vector mask, you can apply one or more layer styles to it, edit them if needed, and instantly have a usable button, panel, or other web design element. So you can see in this one right here, this image, that the background is painted with black, and then the description card was painted with gray, and the basket was painted in white. So the basket shows through 100%. The little card here is about probably 20 or 30%, and then the background is completely gone. So that's basically how you would set this type of an example up. So the properties panel provides additional controls to adjust a mask, and you can change the opacity of a mask to let more or less of the mask content area show through. You can invert the mask, or you can refine the mask borders as with a selection area. So again, A is the layer mask, and then B is a vector mask. And this is the properties panel. So when you're adding a layer mask, you want to make sure that no part of your image is selected. So you need to choose and select, deselect. And in the layers panel, you want to select the layer or group and then do one of the following. To create a mask that reveals the entire layer, you would click the Add Layer Mask button in the layers panel, or choose Layer, Layer Mask, Reveal All. And I'll share my slideshow with you. I put all of this in the slideshow, so that way if you're following along with the video and you just needed to see the instructions printed out as well, you would have the step-by-step as well. But make sure you're watching those videos also. And then to create a mask that hides the entire layer, you would either alt-click on Windows or Option-click on your Mac. the Add Layer Mask button or choose Layer, Layer Mask, Hide All. And then you can add a layer mask that hides part of a layer. So in the Layers panel, select the layer or group and select the area in the image and do one of the following. Click the New Layer Mask button in the Layers panel to create a mask that reveals the selection. And then you can option click on your Mac the Add Layer Mask button in the Layers panel, which looks like this. To create a mask that hides the selection, or you can choose Layer, Layer Mask, Reveal Selection, or Hide Selection. And you can even create a mask from a layer transparency. So Photoshop can do so many things. So if you want to directly edit layer transparency, create a mask from that data. This technique is helpful for video and 3D workflows. So in the Layers panel, select the layer, choose Layer, Layer Mask from Transparency, and Photoshop converts your transparency into an opaque color. Hidden by the newly created mask, the opaque color varies greatly depending upon the filters and other processing previously applied to the layer. And you can even apply a layer mask from another layer. So you can do one of the following. To move the mask to another layer, you would just simply drag the mask right off the layer it's on to the other layer. And then to duplicate it, you would hold down the Option key while you're dragging, and it would make a duplicate of that mask on the other layer. And I also provided you an Adobe link that has a couple more tips and tricks for you. So again, you're going to be, for our assignment, using selection tools, and you're going to be creating a composition that has these 4 elements: a photo of an animal, a photo of a hat, crown, or headpiece, a photo of a prop, so maybe a briefcase, a drinking glass, or a pencil, or something that the animal can interact with. I'm going to actually fix that on this slide. Whoops. Drinking glass, and then a background. And you're going to composite those 4 images together in a clever way using your selections and masking techniques that were demonstrated in those 2 videos. And then be sure to use adjustment layers and clipping masks to make the lighting and color consistent. So there isn't a size specified in the assignment. So what I would do is I would base your size on your largest image, which is probably going to be your background image. And it should be a good size. You know, you shouldn't be doing a composite of a 2-inch by 3-inch image. That's really small. So make sure you're downloading a good sized background image from that website. Also this week, we have a quiz as our assessment for week 3. So this quiz is 5 questions, and there is a 60-minute time limit on it. So make sure that you are doing your quiz as well. You know, click on Save Answers periodically when you're working on the assessment to save those answers. And when you're finished, click on Save Answers and then Submit for grade. And, you know, click the Take the Quiz to get it started. All right, so I am going to pause this recording and I'm going to start up the next recording because we're going to hop right into Photoshop tonight.